Duke. I am a police dog with the Federal Dog Police. My name again, Sergeant Duke. That's D-U-K-E. And I'm in charge of investigating the mastermind of insurrection, Stephen Colbert. Yes, my last news conference, I promised I'd give you some details. I'm keeping up with you all and letting you know those details are now at present and accounted for, as I promised. I promised you in my first broadcast that Mr. Colbert here, Mr. Colbert was responsible for the insurrection. And he has come forward and he has admitted his guilt on Monday night. Another one of our top investigators, Tucker Carlson, responded in a similar manner, in which I congratulate our deputy, Tucker Carlson, for coming out and describing to you exactly what's going on with Mr. Colbert. So, again, this is a news conference. As I announced, I'm the federal police dog, Sergeant Duke, in charge of the investigation of the Colbert Leftist Attack Dog, Triumph, the Leftist Attack Dog. You'll see him here at the top of my wanted poster. And of course, as I said, we have the ringleader, the mastermind of insurrection, who is hiding behind puppetry in the first degree. Well, let's get to the details that we have uncovered since my last news conference. Thank you. We'll have questions in a moment. Just right now, we want to cover some of the new information, and then we'll have questions, okay? So stay calm, don't panic, and we'll get to that. So-called comedian Stephen Colbert seems to further implicate himself by his grandiose and many false statements. Monday night, June 20th, we've reviewed the videotape, we've reviewed his statements. Colbert laughs off a charge of insurrection by Tucker Carlson. He denies his attack dog, puppet, Triumph, and 7 human accomplices were not at the Capitol, denies insurrection, and denies the unlawful disrupting the lawful actions of Congress and howling for the blood of elected leaders. This is what his words were. Colbert especially performs a fraud by claiming the peaceful team was no threat, and that terming it an insurrection like the January 6th insurrection is a disservice to the police who had to confront the disruptors on January 6th. First off, let me get to this. First off, the investigation is just beginning, and Stephen Colbert should be taken into custody, questioned, and then formally charged as the mastermind of the June 16 leftist attack dog on the Capitol. I see a question there, ma'am. Did you have a question?
Yes, over here.
Yeah, I'll call on you. Yes, yes.
Have any congressmen formally come out about this?
If lady asked, are there any congressmen that came out about this in a formal way? I guess that's what you mean. Is that in a formal way, right?
Yes.
Okay, so formally, we have, of course, the police report, which I make reference to here, the police report for Triumph and his 7 human accomplices. They were arrested for unlawful entry, as we all know. For the police to do that, they had to have been doing something very serious and very threatening for them to take them into custody, first of all. Second of all, a letter signed by members of Congress were released on Monday from Jim Jordan and Rodney Davis, the ranking member of the Committee on House Administration. In that letter, the 2 congressmen ask for any information in the police report detailing the activities of the accused. They ask for all reports, witness statements, and other material related to the arrest of individuals associated with the Late Show with Stephen Colbert on June 6th, and all security and still photographs to the arrest of individuals associated with the Late Show with Stephen Colbert on June 16th. Of course, we have admissions from Stephen Colbert, which we are going to enter into our own evidence and prosecution here at the Federal Dog Police. So that letter is online. It's again indicting the team for what they're doing and asking for details from Rodney Davis and Jim Jordan. That's posted online. But of course, we have questions about Congressman Auchincloss, who recently had his chief of staff attack the office of Marjorie Taylor Greene, and he's unapologetic about that. And Congressman Adam Schiff, that allegedly both these congressmen invited Colbert to harass Marjorie Taylor Greene and the other congressmen. Now, the topic I wanted to continue on, we represented at our first news conference that Stephen Colbert is the mastermind behind the wholesale assault and must be fully investigated. Colbert's admissions Monday night are obvious, and his obstructions and denials are sad attempts to obstruct justice and a lawful investigation. The 7 executives and staff of the Colbert insurrection gang did have permission from members of Congress, but had been expelled, as we said, for attacking and threatening offices and staff of Congress. Kevin McCarthy, Lauren Boebert, many other congressmen, obviously Marjorie Taylor Greene. We need to hear details of those assaults, and that's what the letter from Congressman Jordan and the other congressmen said will do. We will get those details. We have a lot already. After these assaults and complaints, the 7 executives and staff were expelled, and this same crew reportedly returned to the Longworth office building. I hope I have that right. Our examination of Colbert's public pleadings omit this. He left it out. Colbert is clearly feeling the heat of our investigations, and we repeat that Stephen Colbert must be arrested and fully investigated as the kingpin we allege him to be. And he is proving by his lies and misrepresentations that he's the kingpin that we have represented him to be. To claim a puppet play is all they do is to deny the screaming threats routinely employed by the comic that Colbert directs. And look at this guy. I mean, come on, take a look at him. He has a cigar in his face. I mean, come on. Who goes around with a cigar in their face? We don't know anybody. But this attack dog, Triumph, he is just a puppet. Come on. To claim the Longworth Congressional Building, which is what Colbert did, is not part of the U.S. Capitol, is to publicly lie, as there is direct access to the U.S. Capitol from all congressional offices. An attack on any congressional building is under the jurisdiction of the U.S. Capitol Police. This is nitpicking by Colbert to say it's not, quote, the Capitol. It is the Capitol, you idiot. That's considered the Capitol. The Capitol, the purpose is to have Congress meet there. And when you attack congressmen in their offices, that's attacking the Capitol. Now, I have a lot of questions and a lot of issues that must be fully investigated. Is there another question?
Sir, here in the back.
Yes.
We have lots of questions, and I know you're pressed on time. Is there any place where we can find reference to some answers or find some answers to all of these inquiries that we are receiving on this important matter?
Well, I am posting everything on my website, publicadvocateusa.org. That's publicadvocateusa.org. Again, publicadvocateusa.org has a listing of all the allegations. And what we're asking for, by the way, and thank you for asking that question, were these perpetrators peaceful? Were they invited? Who invited them? We're just getting initial information, but we want to know, besides the members of Congress, Adam Schiff and Auchincloss, who else invited them? What do the harassed congressmen say about Triumph, the insult comic dog? And is Colbert hiding his crime in puppetry? Of course, I've covered that at length here, but I have some other things. All film taken on all cameras, personal and corporate cameras, on the site of the Capitol, owned by the Stephen Colbert organization or affiliated contractors, must be held as evidence and fully examined as possible. Add that to my list of other things that the congressmen are asking for, but it seems only natural that the film taken by perpetrators on Capitol Hill have been taken into evidence, And I'd like to take all film taken on all cameras, personal and corporate cameras, on the site of the Capitol. In other words, if they were there with a camera, we want that video. We want that video taken down and actually used as evidence in this case. We're looking, of course, as the congressmen have looked for, video camera footage of all security cameras in Congress of the Stephen Colbert insurrection gang. All electronic pings on all cell phones associated with Stephen Colbert's insurrection gang and Stephen Colbert himself. Adam Schiff's role in the attacks has to be investigated. Responses from Republican victims must be investigated. There must be a social media audit of all Colbert staff and Colbert himself and congressional staff and congressmen involved in the insurrection. All groups that were involved with this insurrection, because this may have been a larger conspiracy. We have to look for that larger conspiracy. All transcripts of text to and from Stephen Colbert. All access cards or codes used to gain entrance to establish prior effort to prepare for the insurrection. All coded text messages using the keywords director or producer, or triumph, whatever codes they used to uncover the suspected mastermind, Steve Colbert. In conclusion, I know what an insurrection is when I see it, and a shifty evil mind when I see him. God bless you, and God bless America. Too much? Too long?